Okay, hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm joined with...
I'm Jess.
Peggy.
Amy.
And what year are you all in?
I'm second year.
Second year.
First year.
I'm also second year. And if you don't know my name's Lucy. So I asked on Instagram yesterday some questions. I said we'll be doing a Q&A. We've got the questions here, so we're just going to run through them. We've got lots of questions. Some of them were the same, so we've just condensed them down. So yeah, let's start. What was your favourite placement area and did you expect it to be your favourite? Just so you can go first.
I preferred labour ward being in hospital. I think it was more challenging. I hadn't worked at all in hospital or clinical area, so it was something new, something exciting and a lot of change going on.
My favourite was also labour ward because I just preferred to be in a big team of midwives. I didn't expect it to be my favourite. I thought the MLU would be my favourite. I do love the MLU, but I preferred being in a bigger team, I think.
My favourite place is community, but I think it varies with people that you work with. That makes a huge difference.
I've only done community. We've only done one block of placement and I loved it. We did antenatal classes, clinics, and we visited women postnatally at home, so I really enjoyed it and I'm on labour ward next.
Cool. So, do you think it's doable to work alongside a degree? Out of all of us, I'm the only one who has a job.
Yeah.
She wants the money.
But I would probably say no. My job is pretty irrelevant. I just work 4 hours a week and I don't always go if I've got placement. It's very chilled. Thankfully my boss just lets me work as and when, but I wouldn't have a job where you needed to work set hours every week. So I just feel that it would really stress me out, I think. How do you organise your notes? I already have a blog post on this and a YouTube video, so if you are interested in how I do mine, you can go and see those. I'll link them in the description. Ladies, everyone does it very differently. All of these ladies have different styles, so do you want to mention what you do?
I think I write notes when I'm in lectures and then go back and read them again. If anything's missing, I'll read the PowerPoint, add more in. I won't write them out again, just to save a bit of time, but I'll add in what I've forgotten, if anything. That's pretty much it.
I'm a visual learner, so I just use colours and make it look pretty. So I want to read it. So that's what I do. I just get a big sheet of plain paper and just
We
write.
love our A3 document. Yeah.
And just write. So yeah, just make it look pretty, and then you want to read it.
So I just do the pre-session work and then anything in the lectures that I haven't already written down in my notes, I'll just add to it, and then I'll either kind of neaten it up on a separate page or I'll just kind of colour code and highlight things that really need to stand out, that I need to focus on.
Very interesting.
We all do it so differently.
I know.
Yeah. Another question which we got from a couple of people: did we wish we'd done nursing first and then done the shortened course? But actually, we can't do the shortened course anymore. I think they're scrapping that.
Is there one?
At
It's
least
like
our
an odd
uni
few,
is.
but
But yeah, a lot of midwives who I've spoken to who did the shortened course say that they're glad that some places won't be doing it anymore because it was really difficult for them. But I do not wish for a second that I did nursing first.
Not at all.
Me either.
Because it would just be a waste of money and time. Because now we have to pay.
Yeah, and I just knew I couldn't do nursing because I tried doing care before and it didn't end well for me. So.
Not that we're not caring people.
Yeah, we are caring people, but midwifery and nursing is the same. It's in the same content, but it's totally different. So it's either you can do it or not.
Alternative placement, I think, will show you if it's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's one.
I thought about nursing because a lot of the midwives who I've spoken to, they were nurses beforehand, so that's what they've always known. But I always knew if I was going to do nursing, I'd convert anyway, so why not just do direct entry?
Another question was, is the course manageable as a single parent? None of us have children.
Well, you don't know.
Oh,
Peggy's got some secret kids in the basement somewhere. Yeah, none of us have kids. However, there's lots of women on both of our cohorts who have children who are doing just fine. I mean, it is a bit more difficult, but
It's
I think it's the extra support.
yeah.
It's what you need. Extra support and and family. That's what you need basically.
I like this question, but you guys, I don't know. Do you want to specialise in anything once you've qualified? Can you see yourself being a specialist in something in the future?
I do. I'm going to jump straight
Cool.
into that.
You can go the other way.
I'd like to do some teaching, not lecturing all the time in the unis, but I'd like to teach like paramedics or go into GP surgeries and teach people more about midwifery, because I know when we see paramedics, they don't have a great deal of training on it. and they can get quite panicky. So I'd like to kind of give them extra support just while I'm working on the wards anyway. That's what I'd like to do.
Peggy?
I want to do teaching because I just want to look like a cute lecturer. I'm joking, but I want to specialise. I don't know what I want to specialise in actually, but I do know after I do qualify and obviously build up my portfolio and stuff, I want to do more of like charity work and work with vulnerable people. So
We've got a love for the teenage mums now.
I do have a passion in working and helping vulnerable people. So that's something. It's not maybe something I want to specialise in, but something I just want to do on the side.
Yeah. Personally, I'd love to be a research midwife, but sort of a hands-on research midwife. So I love reading journals and things. I'm not.
You'd be very good at that.
I'm not particularly academic on the writing side, but I love statistics.
We're going to
and journals. So hopefully, I can be a research midwife in the future. Do some interesting, pioneering research.
I can imagine you doing that.
We'll reference you.
Oh, that's my goal. That is literally my goal. Davis, or whatever my last name is.
I'm not sure yet though. I think I need to see a little bit more and think about things more before I think that's the one thing I want to focus on. But there are areas that I'm interested in more than others, I suppose.
Yeah. Can you give an example?
Domestic violence?
Yeah. Another question, what to buy before starting the course? I have a blog post on this, just to link that in the description as well. But if we will just go along and say one thing that you would recommend buying before we start. Amy?
A good pair of shoes for placement. I cannot stress this enough. You'll be on your feet for hours. So a decent pair of shoes. Most people get the Clarks Unloop. They're not the most attractive shoes, but
we advocate for the Unloops.
I love them. They're my babies.
But they are like slippers, and honestly, you will be so thankful for them because they'll probably see you through 3 years of training. They're amazing. So I'd invest in a good pair of shoes.
I don't know, like the shoes is essential. Like you need the shoes. A good handbag, school bag. They can just
a big one.
A big one. You can just dump everything in there.
Okay, my camera just cut out, so we're going back to Jess. What were you saying?
A nice water bottle for drinks when you're on placement and on uni as well.
We love a water bottle. I'm going to say pens, black ones, lots of them, but then we have the nice, the big ones with the 4 colours. The black, the red, the green and the blue. Those are the best pens. What would you advise people to read or prepare for before they start the course once they've already got a place? Shall we go down the line again, Jess? Do you want to start this up?
Definitely read the code. That underpins our entire practice. So definitely get to grips with that, understanding why it's important and how to apply it to practice.
Yeah, definitely the code.
I would say just underpin yourself with communication, the basic stuff. Don't stress about trying to go straight into it. Just start with the basics, so the actual role of a midwife. I know when we're all writing our person statement, we do a small research to just grab what actually midwifery means, but just have a great understanding that midwifery simply means with women, and just the communication, the continuity. Just try and build a basic knowledge before you come in and you start the course.
I would say in terms of the social side, try and connect with people on your course. So a lot of uni set up Facebook pages, or you've got the Secret Community of Midwives Facebook group.
Is there anything that you dislike about being a student midwife?
I'm poor.
I'm rich in the name
I'm
of
so
Jesus.
poor.
For your bank, however. Yeah, you'll be poor for sure. All that rhymes.
I think your social life does struggle a little bit, especially if you're out quite a lot or you're our age, quite young. You have to think, okay, I can't go out. I've got to do some work now. You've got to put things aside sometimes and think, I've got to prioritise my uni work.
I don't know. Maybe it's just every day I have something to do.
Yeah.
There's never a day where I just
the work never stops.
Yeah.
You never get on top of it. There's
Yeah.
always another thing that's
and
added
the
to
days
it.
where you're just lying in and you have to do work, I just hate feeling guilty all the time.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it's the guilt. It really is the guilt.
Just keeping on top of everything, because by
Yeah.
the time you've read the latest research, well, the next
There's
day there's
another
going to
one.
be something new out. So
Exactly.
you're constantly learning, and it can get overwhelming. But if you just stay on top of it,
And
then
you don't stop.
you'll be fine. But everyone's in the same boat, so just chat to people.
Yeah, I don't like how hard it is sometimes. They make it hard, I think. Why do you have to make it so hard?
Who is
The
doing
course
this
goes
to
on
us?
for the whole year, all day, every day.
I only have 3 weeks of summer holidays.
Yeah, the 3 weeks of summer is
Yeah.
a bit heartbreaking. But once we qualify, we won't even get that.
I know.
So make the most of it, ladies. Yeah, it's just hard sometimes, but it'll be worth it in the end. Do you feel out of place on placement?
All the time.
Yeah.
Specifically, like, what did you do in, like, did you feel out of place in, like, those first couple
First
weeks?
weeks. Yeah.
Amy, like, this has been you more recently.
Yeah, it's weird. You just feel like a bit of a lemon because you don't know anyone, you don't know anything. So you do go out there and you don't want to ask a stupid question. But it's fine, like, they've seen thousands of students in the same position. You do feel out of place, but I've been lucky with the team I was in, community. I settled in really well. I was made to feel very welcome. Everyone's really friendly.
I remember feeling so nervous. Woo! I did not sleep the day before my first day on placement, but I got to see Peggy's smiling little face on the morning. She did the night shift before me, so I got to see her. But I felt so out of place for the first couple weeks. Like, because you don't know where things are, you don't know who people are, but over time you learn. And then once you know more about what I felt was like, once you knew more about the environment, you felt more comfortable. So you're like, oh, I'll go get this, I'll go get that. You can busy yourself once you know what things are and where things are. And once you start busying yourself, you feel a lot more comfortable because you feel like, actually, I'm doing something important. And people recognise it, they remember your name, they say hello to you, and you can smile at the people who come and clean the kitchen. You can smile at the people who, you know, who are the porters. You like recognise people, and it gets a lot more comfortable after a while. But you don't feel out of place for anything.
I would say, like, although you will feel out of place, as they always say, like, it's normal. You're new to a new environment and you have no idea what you're doing. Don't make it obvious that, like, you feel out of place. Just stand there.
Fake it till you make
Fake
it.
it till you make it.
Jess?
I think that even the Band 7 and the matrons were once students. They were all in opposition how many years ago. They know what it's like.
They talk about being students.
Yeah.
They will be like, oh, I remember when I was a student, this midwife was my mentor, and this happened. They remember it.
Everyone starts somewhere, so you're starting here.
Yeah. And also, I would say a tip is to, like, do something and make that your thing. Find something that you're good at and you're really confident at, and just like, I should go do that. My thing was, when I was on the post was discharge chats, I'd be like, let me do this discharge chat, because then it made that I would just go away and do my own thing for like 20 minutes, and I would just like being on my own sometimes.
I'd much rather have a student who asks 1,000 questions than someone who just sits in the corner and just kind of doesn't do anything. They'd much rather you ask.
So this was from a girl who is having her interview, I think next week or very soon. What are current issues in midwifery?
Staffing.
Funding council.
Just being part of the NHS.
Yeah, staffing, like Peggy said.
Yeah. And it has a lot of impact on care.
Yeah.
It's, continuity and stuff. So staffing is a big one. So that's why we need G to come.
Yeah. I would say, like, being a public health advocate is really hard for things like breastfeeding, because that is an issue, and just getting that across in a way where you're not going to offend someone. And just, I think something that midwives find hard is drawing the line between being pushy for something and coming and giving informed choice and being an advocate for breastfeeding, because you need to tell women, like, it's much better than formula feeding your baby because of all of these things, but you don't want to come across as preachy or rude. But I think we do have, like, a responsibility and a role to advocate for breastfeeding because of its benefits. But yeah, it's hard to be a really good public health advocate, I think.
Go to RCM.
Yeah, if you want to find issues, go to the RCM website. And then we've got, shall I do that one last?
Which one?
Interview tips. Loads of people ask for interview tips, so we'll do that one last, just after this one. So, is midwifery an emotionally challenging job, and how do you not let your emotions get the better of you?
It's definitely emotional. I mean, if someone's bringing a new person into the world, you're not
for
going
sure it's emotional.
to sit there and be like, oh, that's fine. How do you control it? I think you compartmentalise so much of what you do. You sort of put it away in a little box and you sort of just forget about it, and then it takes a while to think, okay, I've actually got to sit and think about what I've just said today.
there is a professional aspect, and they say, oh, you need to be professional, But when you get there, feel like, and you're in the scrubs, and you've got your badge on, and you're part of the midwifery team, like you're on their side, you are just covered in this professional coat, and actually, it's a mindset. So when you're giving care, when you're speaking to women, even though you might not even think it, you are in, like, work mode. So things that you see that would normally bother you in life, like bleeding or body parts or I don't know, stuff like that. It just sort of goes over because it's like task orientated. You see that as something that you either need to fix, manage, speak through, like, because you're coming at it from a different angle. But if say it was your loved one, you're not there in a position where
you just think very differently.
Yeah, you think very differently.
Yeah.
But there are aspects where it's really emotional and really sad sometimes, and it's okay to be emotional. But I found, even being in those situations, it didn't really hit me until I took 5 minutes to myself. And it's okay, and I would definitely recommend, like, if you experience something upsetting on placement, do what you have to do in the moment to be with the woman and be professional and deal with the situation. But as soon as you can, take 5 minutes for yourself. Anything to add? Amy has lots of clinical experience despite only being a first year.
So I was a maternity care assistant 2 years previously, so I did see a lot of things happen. And I think, for me personally, you just kind of go into autopilot, like it's just another job to do, and you can't kind of let yourself get too emotionally attached. And it's not till afterwards when you kind of take a step back, you think, well, that wasn't great, or actually that was amazing, and we did a really good job. And when you go home, it's hard to kind of like leave stuff at work because you can't help but think about it when you're at home. But just talk to your colleagues, talk to your friends at uni, people who kind of get it.
Personal tutors are always really good.
Yeah, just talk about it and reflect on it, because if you bottle it up, it's not going to do you any good.
Yeah, I just think, you guys said it, like, reflecting is key in midwifery, because you reflect and then you're like, okay, what went well, what didn't go well, and the main key point is, what can we learn from this experience? So that's what you just need to remember. So anytime you face like a challenging situation, it's like, it happens, you can't go back to change whatever that happens, but the key point is, what can I learn from this experience moving forward?
Right, let's move on to the biggie, the interview tips. Literally has so many questions for interview tips. We'll go down the line and do just like one at a time until we can't really think of any more. Who would like to start? Amy, you did it most recently.
Yes, it's been about a year since I interviewed. I think I know it sounds corny, but just be yourself. Like, as much as they're looking for like good answers and you've done loads of knowledge, they want to see that you're chatty, you're friendly, you're approachable. You can have a conversation with them. Just, they do take into account that you're nervous. Just what kind of person you are, not necessarily the answers you give. It will get you a long way if you have a bit of humour in it. You can make a joke out of, make light of situations. So I think just be yourself. Don't kind of close up and just panic. Just take a few deep breaths. Everyone's in the same situation. They know you're nervous. Just trust that you've done as much preparation as you can and just go for it.
I would say, like, if you can build like a mini portfolio, so like, key point again, I think we spoke about it already, on communication, because I did that when I was going for my interview. I did like a mini portfolio on like the key of communication in NHS, and they literally loved it. Like, everyone was literally talking about it about interview. So you can build like a mini communication about women-centered care, just a little like flow chart, just to show them like, oh, this is my intake on communication. It's something to just make you stand out. You do want to stand out, but you don't want to go over the top to stand out kind of thing, but it's important to stand out. So if you can build a mini portfolio, go for it, do it.
Yeah, I would just say maybe have something that you're interested in. So like one aspect of midwifery which really interests you, and then have a really strong knowledge base around that. Because I know every interview I went to, they would ask me what's one thing to do in midwifery that interests you or that you know a lot about, and then you can talk about that, and you can come across really passionately as well, and you can get across sort of your angle and your thoughts on the role of a midwife, for example, or like a specific aspect of midwifery care. If you have something that you are really knowledgeable in, it'll bring you confidence as well to speak about it, because you know that you know a lot about that subject.
I think come prepped with questions to ask the university as well. I mean, you're going to be attending there for 3 years. You want to know everything you can before you get there. I mean, I'm helping out at an interview in a couple of months, and the students will get a chance to ask me questions then about the interview process and the course. So I come with questions for us and for the lecturers as well about the university and the course.
And if there's students there who are helping with the interviews, talk to them, because the lecturers talk to them and ask them about you.
Please talk to us.
Yeah, because our personal tutor is in charge of all the interviews, and she is always going on about how at the interview, she's asking the students who are there about about the people who are interviewed, and they're just really looking at your communication skills as well. They've said that interview, it's the whole process, not just this sat down interview in front of you or the exams. They're watching you the whole time, but don't let that stress you out. Just be yourself, and that should be enough, really.
And you just have to think about it, like, the application process is so long. You've made it to the interview. You've got this.
Yeah.
Like, just think about it like that. Like, there's stages to it, and you've written your personal statement. You've got...
Sorry, we just cut off Peggy's motivational speech. But I think we got the gist of it.
Yeah. You've made it that far.
Yeah.
They want to know more about you, so just shine, basically.
Yeah, be yourself. Have anyone else got anything to add?
I'll just say about experiences, it is hard to get experience within maternity, but just, you know, even if you just helped out a breastfeeding clinic, or, you know, you worked in Asda or something, it's those transferable skills. You say, I can communicate, I've worked with the public, I know how to problem solve, I can adapt situations. Just take all those skills and think, how would I apply that to midwifery? There's so much that's not to do with midwifery or healthcare that's so relevant. So just pick different things that you've done and talk about it.
Yeah. Anyone else got anything more to add? Because that is the end, otherwise.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the end of this video. We've done a nice Q&A. Thank you guys for joining me.
Thank you
for
for having us.
You're so marvellous.
We'll be back.
Oh, will you now? I'm sure they will be back. Comment down below if you want them to return. But yeah, whilst you're there, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, leave any comments or questions down below. I'll link in the description my Instagram, my blog. Do you guys want to be linked? Do you want followers?
Link me, baby.
Peggy's got a lovely fashion account, Lady of Worth, so we can link her. But yeah, if you've got any questions or queries, please leave them. Feel free to DM me on Instagram. They'll be back on my channel because I'm boring on my own.
Really? No,
I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, me too. Also, I have been asked so many times to film a day in my life. I will do that, the day when I remember when I wake up. So many times I'm like, tomorrow I'll film the day of my life, and I'll wake up and I'll be like, I'll just get my phone and scroll. No, I won't even do that, and I'll get in my car to come here. I'll be like, I was meant to film this morning. So you'll definitely see them on that because I spend all my time with these lovely ladies. So yeah, that video will be coming soon. Please leave any suggestions for any other videos you'd like me to film, us to film, or whatever. But yeah, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.